when I did Fragments in '94, it's a very interesting play. It's very, I don't say avant-garde, but it's like Pirandello, 6 characters in search of an author. So it's in that vein. It's 8 people in chairs talking to each other for no apparent reason. But I remember when I read the play, I was really excited because obviously, like, when you first read a play, you're pretty much going through and skipping everyone else and going, my line, my line, my line. Oh yeah, good. My line, my line, my line. Oh, good. And then I hit the second act, and the second act started with like this 8-page single-spaced monologue, and and I remember kind of flipping through the play and seeing it and going, oh God, I hope that's mine. You know what I mean? And flipping back and going, ah, yes, it's like Man 4 or whatever. So I was really excited because it was like this 15 or 20-minute monologue, and not just that, it was amazing. It was this, it was like the cousin to the great, like, Jerry and the Dog monologue in Zoo's Story. It was one of those massive, like, narratives of murky meaning and strange experience and like struggle to understand things. It was so good. I thought, like, okay, I'm gonna learn this fast. Like, and I'm a good memorizer, so I thought by the time we do first stand-up read-through of the second act, I'm gonna have it cold. Like, and so I went home and I just grinded on it for 3 or 4 nights really hard, and I got word perfect on it. I mean, I was like letter perfect. And I remember we came in, whenever we hit rehearsal, we're going to read the second act for the first time, in rough standing positions. I kind of like tossed the script down, like showily. And I remember seeing this other actor, Scott Sowers, goes, "Ooh, like, yeah, like, like, really?" So I do it, and I was like, I'm not saying it was well acted, but I was letter perfect on it. And everybody was kind of like, wow, like, well done, blah, blah, blah. And I'm kind of looking up in the shadows in the back, and I can see Albee kind of sitting there like this, and then everybody takes a break, and I see him kind of go like that, and I'm thinking, in my mind, I'm hearing him say, like, that may be the quickest that anyone has ever absorbed my words, or I'm hearing, like, the compliment that's going to come, and I slide up, like, all full of myself, and he goes, about halfway through, you said, "Make a mock of me," and it's just "make mock of me," and I went, "What?" And he says, "You said make a mock of me," and it's just "make mock of me." And I kind of went, "Oh, okay, I'll look at that," And he goes, I said, "Anything else?" And he goes, "Well," he says, "Well, you made something that is singular a plural, but I was writing down the note about make mock of me and I missed it." He goes, "But there's something in there that's singular and you're making it plural." And I went, like, "I'll get back to you on that." And I walked away thinking, like, he's a madman. He's like a horrible totalitarian word Nazi. And the thing was, he was right. He didn't have a script. He wasn't like, he just knew it. And I went back and looked, and sure enough, like, I was like, well, I guess that's what it means to work with real writers.